Hello, hello. Thank you so much. I want to thank everyone for coming and staying all the way till the end. I'm going to make it good. Trust me. All right, so I want to start this off with a question, and it's how do we unite communities? Throughout the presentation, I want you guys to think about that. So there's many different ways of uniting communities. They're very tiny. It says parks, art, festivals, music, healing, stories, and love. Now I want to start this off with a story. We live here in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's a really expensive place to live in. And the inhabitants here have to spend about half of their money on rent. So just think about all the money that you currently have right now in your bank that you make per month, half of it going to just living. And then the other half probably going to food. And how do you save any money? So in this graph, we see a lot of purple and a lot of orange. Take a minute to kind of look at that. So the entire purple area is areas that have been gentrified. And the orange areas are areas that are about to be gentrified. And before I move forward, I want to take a moment and define what gentrification is. Gentrification is when new inhabitants, mostly wealthy, come into neighborhoods of residents with lower income and move them out. So just take a moment and think about that. And here are some pictures from a friend of mine. He's an artist here in the Bay Area, and he captures his daily, just kind of going around the neighborhood. And as you know, it's difficult to live here, and it's pushing lower residents to the streets, and even into tougher situations, as well as moving them out. And when I asked Rico the other day, the photographer that took all these, how does it feel living here in the Bay Area? He said, I actually feel for all the people that live on the streets because I'm just one paycheck away from living out there with them. So I want to speak about artists in the Bay Area. And a lot of artists are having really difficult times living here. So we've all heard of a lot of people around us kind of leaving and not being able to live here, especially artists. So think about some of our favorite places around here in the Bay Area. I really like Bronco Billy's, just up the street. And imagine if somebody came and bought Bronco Billy's, and then instead of those really good $5 pizzas, now they're like $45 pizzas, and they're not very good. That would kind of suck, right? So what do we do? So before we get into what we do, I want to give you a little bit of background about myself and how I got here. So I'm an alumni, and my parents are Palestinian refugees. They came here because they were seeking a better life. They came here to look and search for what we call the American dream. And what they picked up was the pizza trade. They learned how to make the bread, the dough, and then the cheese. And my dad, for about 15 years, had an establishment in the Soma district. We had SF Pizza. Soma and Civic Center area is one of the toughest neighborhoods in San Francisco. When you walk around those neighborhoods, you are dodging needles frequently. You are smelling really bad smells, and you're dodging poop. So this area wasn't one of the best neighborhoods, but we persisted and stayed there. And then something happened. We got a notice, and they told us that you have 90 days to leave the neighborhood. You're no longer going to be here. So what ended up happening was gentrification started happening to me and my family. So then, at that moment, I quit my job. At the time, I was an accountant. I didn't really like accounting, but our school's really good at it here. And I just kind of was like, what's gonna happen? I need to help out my family. So then I went back to the pizza shop, and I just kind of sat there and looked around the store a little bit, and I was like, what is gonna leave this neighborhood? Pizza, okay, but like all the cool people that come here and throw parties, all the really dope artists that come and put up their artwork, and all the musicians that come and display all their music. So here's some photos from my cousin Joey. And the pizza place was a hub. It was a place of community, a place that brought everyone together to express themselves freely. And that was about to leave the neighborhood. So in this next picture, you'll see that the store is a little bit painted now. So my friend Ali back there, who's also an alumni, helped me paint the whole entire store black. Because we had a moment and we thought, well, if this was going to leave the neighborhood, well, we need to put our foot down. We need to tell them, like, hey, we're leaving, but we're not going to go out without fighting. So in protest, we painted the entire shop black. And then we're like, we should put up a sign too. So we put a marquee. And then we put up this sign. Oh, go back. Yeah. And then from there, we're like, okay, we need to continue this movement that we had at the shop. So we kept throwing parties. We kept throwing parties at the shop, and I was supposed to show you a video of like what happens at our parties, what we do. But anyways, we're gonna keep going, and then here we see a photo of some of the DJs that used to play at the pizza shop. Now they're playing at nightclubs and they're playing at bars. But we got there because we stuck together, and we created this community, and we felt that even though the pizza shop was no longer there, we kept the movement going. We kept telling people about the situation, and we kept telling the story in the narrative. We even moved as far as creating our own content. So we started making our own music videos, and we started making our own original music. And then that grew even bigger, and it grew into putting a community together of people lending their hand to one another, to ensuring that their projects continue to flourish. And from there, we made it to the biggest nightclub in San Francisco, 1015 Folsom, where we put on a show on the main stage, continuing to spread the same message that we started off with at the pizza shop. Now, we've created this huge community of artists from all over the place. And the main project that we were trying to accomplish from the beginning was to unite communities that are new and existing in a platform where they're able to kind of communicate with each other through art and music. And from there, it grew even bigger. It became something that I could no longer handle on my own. We started making movies, and we raised $80,000 and made this movie. And then there's a slide missing somewhere. But we made our own album, and our music, made our own original music. We have an album releasing this Saturday, actually. And we even started working on clothing, and we're releasing our own clothing. So I prompt you with the same question and ask, what can we do to unite communities? I advise everyone to dance more, sing more, and lend a hand and help each other out. Thank you.